Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It's February 20th, 2024, and happy birthday to Dea. Dea is 20 years old today. It's her champagne birthday, if you will, because she's born on the 20th, and she's 20 years old now. So, gotta give that shout out to my daughter, first of all. Now, today, I want to talk a little bit about stamps. I've been going year by year through Canadian stamps since we've been touching on the year-end albums. We're up to the year 2020. How appropriate, 2020 for my daughter's 20th birthday on the 20th day. I thought it was quite fitting. So we're gonna go through this album of all the stamps that came out in the year 2020 and show you exactly what a year-end album looks like. Now, if it's your first time finding my channel, thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe, you like, you leave positive comments, you share with other people, you have the notification bell on, which will let you know when new videos are coming out that I have planned, especially my live streams that I do on Saturday. What else do we talk about here? Sometimes we talk about the weather outside. It is very chilly today. The last couple days, the temperature has dipped down again. And I think some of you think that in Canada, especially if you're tuning in just to these winter videos, you think it's cold all the time. I promise it's not. If you watch the videos in the summer, you'll see that we're into the 30s and sometimes into the 40s. But today, it feels like minus 22 outside. It's going to get to a high of about -6, I think, but with the wind chill, it's keeping it into the minus 10s and 20s, so it's cold. So, great day to be inside looking at stamps, don't you think? All right, let's go through this album, which you just pull it out like this, and then we can see what's inside. So here we've taken the book out of the sleeve. It is a nice thick cover. It has thick pages inside, like any book. Starts off with the table of contents. It's got a foreword by the President Chief Executive Officer of Canada Post at the time. And then distinctly Canadian. So Canada is home to some of the most stunning places in the world. They are also an indelible part of what makes our country unique and have helped shape and define what it means to be Canada. So here we have Abraham Lake in Alberta. The Athabasca Sand Dunes Provincial Park in Saskatchewan, Herschel Island in the Yukon, French River, Prince Edward Island. You can see that the scenery changes from coast to coast to coast. Here's Ile de la Madeleine in Quebec, Carcajou Falls in Northwest Territories, the Kootenay National Park in British Columbia, Swallowtail Lighthouse, Grand Manan here in New Brunswick, Cabot Trail on Cabot Trail Island in Nova Scotia. And then here are the little stamps that represent all those things. Time of renewal. Here is the year of the rat stamps that came out. There's the domestic one. There's the international one on the souvenir sheet. And then if you get the book, you can also read up about everything and everyone that's inside. Passion for the game. This is the Colored Hockey Championship. There is the stamp that represents that. The annual bestsellers, so the floral stamps that have come out every year for the last number of years. And then the Muslim holiday stamp that came out that particular year. Honoring our heroes, so Veronica Foster and Leo Major. There's write-ups on each one of them and their contributions during the wartime. And beautiful pictures that go along with it. A group of 7 artists celebrated their 100th anniversary. So we have Franklin Carmichael, who was born in 1890 and died in 1945. There's examples of their work. Lauren Harris, who was born in 1885 and passed away in 1970. A.Y. Jackson, 1882 to 1974. Franklin Johnson, 1888 to 1949. Arthur Lismer, 1885 to 1969. J.E.H. MacDonald, 1873 to 1932. And then F.H. Varley from 1881 to 1969. And there are all their stamps with representative artworks on a nice big souvenir sheet that talks all about it. History and milestone in broadcasting. We've come a long way away since that radio days. And there's the nice long stamp that came out to represent that time in broadcasting. And medical groundbreakers, pioneers in the medical field. James Till and Ernest McCulloch. Bruce Cone. Vera Peters. Julio Montner. Balfour Mont. And there are their stamps. Strength and diversity. There is the charitable stamp that came out. So Canada Post has a foundation. So if you bought this, you can see P is the domestic rate price plus 10 cents. So all that extra 10 cents goes to the charity if you buy those stamps. They put those out every year. Light, Love, and Joy, Diwali stamp. The Singular Eye. So this is for first perspective artist of the battlefield. Imagine what it was like back then. And there's the stamp that represents Remembrance Day that year. Come Let Us Adore Him. Here is the Christmas stamp that came out in 2020. Mary and Joseph and the Baby Jesus. Folk Art of Maud Lewis. Very art-centric year 2020 was for us. And there are Maud Lewis stamps. There is the domestic rate, the US rate, and the international rate. And if you're receiving postcards from me, sometimes you still will see these stamps, as I can still get them at the post office. And then the Hanukkah stamp that came out that year. And that is it for 2020. A nice collection of stamps featuring artists, a little bit of hockey, floral, religious stamps that have come out, festivals, and honoring heroes and artists of days gone by. One thing about these stamp videos that just go through the collection albums, they don't take long, or at least I don't make them a long video. I just want to give you an overview of what you would get if you buy one of these year-end albums. My father has bought them from a number of years. He collected Canadian stamps into albums, put them in hinge or in mounts, and then as he got older, he went to just buying these to make sure that he had gotten all the stamps that came out that year. Now, yes, it's true, there are more stamps that have come out in a year. More versions of the stamps you just saw, though, whether it's a plate block, maybe it is a souvenir sheet of that one. The first day covers that come out for these stamps, of course, too, would be separate, but these are the individual issues that came out that year. And I think it's a great way to own a year's collection. If you haven't gone through and maybe getting them used, you can do that too for your album. But if you want mints of all of them, this is a great way to do it. And these normally run about $89, $90 Canadian at the end of the year to buy the album. The early albums didn't have as much detail, didn't have as much substance to the books, and so they were much cheaper. And you can buy used ones from the 70s and 80s for like $20. They're not they're not something that has gone up greatly in value, but these newer ones within the last 15 years, there's a lot more to them, and so you pay a little bit more for them just for that reason. All right, well, this gives you a snapshot of 2020. I don't know what you were doing in 2020, but it wasn't that long ago. The world was a kind of went through a change in that those couple of years. 2020 was a strange one. So I'm glad that we have an opportunity to look back now and it be a little bit in the past. All right, you guys, have a magical week. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Bye.